Good morning and welcome back to BeefLink TV, your daily dose of industry information. Today we're joined once again by Ian Matheson for this week's What the Papers Say. So Ian, thank you so much for joining us this morning. How are you?
Good, thank you, Brooke, and I hope you are too.
Yep, all good, thank you. Have you recovered from Multimodal?
I have. What did you make of last week's event?
Yeah, no, it was good. It was very busy like it always is, but no, it's a great show. It's always good to get out and meet so many people, isn't it?
It is really, yeah, it really is. And great to see so many attendees visiting the BIFA Forwarder Village. And I'm pleased to say I had a little role in the launch of that some years ago.
Yes, you did, yeah. I mean, the Forwarder Village, it always goes down well, doesn't it? We had over 40 log pods this year, so it was a hive of activity, and it's always good to look out and see BIFA members busy as well, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. And I think the show welcomed a record number of visitors, over 13,500. And I think 870 guests attended the Multimodal Awards.
Yeah, it was certainly a big show, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah. And I would encourage anyone who didn't make it to the NEC last week to put the date of next year's event into their diary. Yeah. It's the 30th of June to July the 2nd. And I understand that's been deliberately scheduled there not to clash with Ascot. As right, one of course, the BIFA, one of the BIFA managers apparently was moaning about it, complaining that it clashed with Ascot this year.
Well, that doesn't surprise me at all. But BIFA's show reel will be available from this year. It should be coming out this week, so keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, we did do a post on LinkedIn showing you what BIFA got up to, so you can have a look at that. We'll pop a link to that in the description.
Brilliant. Of course, in the week that Multimodal took place, HMRC invited BIFA members to have their say on HMRC customs processes by taking part in a new research project being run by Ipsos on behalf of the government department.
Yes, it will give members an opportunity to kind of share their views on the current processes, but also kind of the support that's available to them as well.
Yeah, I understand that participation involves just a short phone interview and occasional surveys conducted through July.
Yes, yeah, I know it's not a lot, but there is more information on the BIFA website for members, so we'll pop a link to that in the description as well.
That's great. And there's also discussion at the NEC about the ongoing impact of geopolitical uncertainty on container shipping routes. So it was interesting to see the Suez Canal Authority highlighting the transit of the CMA CGM Osiris through its waterway on June the 18th.
I know it was over 15,000 TEU, wasn't it? So it's the first so-called mega ship that went through in over a year, wasn't it?
That's correct, yeah. And I think the authority is calling it a new phase in its efforts to restore mega ship container traffic through the canal. Personally, I think it's probably too early to start celebrations. Most major shipping carriers remain pretty sceptical about a quick return to the Suez Canal, believing that the risk remains far too high.
I know that insurance premiums are still higher for the Red Sea, aren't they, despite the ongoing conflict between Israel and Iran, isn't it?
That's right, although it remains to be seen what happens this week if the Straits of Hormuz actually get closed.
Yeah, of course.
Staying with container shipping, the old saying, what goes up must come down, was proved last week. The Drewry World Container Index fell 7% following 6 weeks of pretty significant gains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that, of course, the market kind of expected a surge after the US tariffs, so hasn't quite panned out the way that it looked, did it?
No, that's right. The ongoing volatility and timing of rate changes will depend on the outcome of legal challenges to Trump's tariffs and on the capacity changes related to the introduction of the US penalties on Chinese ships, which there's still a lot of uncertainty about that.
Yeah, of course. And I know that BIFA will provide updates as and when we have those for members.
Yeah, in the air freight arena, international trade continued to flow in May and global air cargo volumes rose 6% year on year. But market sentiment and concerns over what comes next saw air freight spot rates decline for the first time in a year, according to Xeneta's latest market analysis.
Yeah, and like you said, in May, they kind of avoided that so-called perfect storm because of those tariffs being put on pause, didn't they?
Yeah, there's that tariff truce, sorry,
Yeah.
in May, and Xeneta said indeed that whilst market fundamentals are holding up, as they put it, rates are likely to fall in reflection of declining sentiment and concerns over what might happen when stability returns to international trade.
Yeah, and I mean, there's less of a push now, isn't there, to the certainty of air freight?
Yeah, there is indeed, Brooke. Staying with air cargo, some of your viewers that are involved in that mode should sign up for a Xeneta webinar on July the 3rd, during which the platform's air freight experts will be joined by Glyn Hughes, the Director General of TIACA, to try to unpick the global trends shaping air cargo in mid-2025.
Yeah, it's looking to be a good event. So we'll pop a link to that in the description for any of our members involved in these kind of movements and anyone who's interested.
That's great. And that kind of concludes this week's episode, but I'd like to remind viewers that, of course, Generation Logistics Week is taking place this week. Of course, BIFA is a partner in this initiative, which fits in nicely with the BIFA's Young Freight Forwarder network and central role in the Freight Forwarder apprenticeship that you were kind of in at the launch of.
Yeah, of course. And I know there's going to be loads of activity going on throughout this week. So we encourage all of our members to follow the campaign. Their social media is just Generation Logistics. And like I said, there's loads of activity going on this week. So make sure you give them a follow and stay up to date with that.
Yeah, the campaign's virtual work experience platform is actually now live, and that's packed with information about very diverse and exciting roles on offer across the industry. It's offering interactive exhibition booths, videos featuring real-life career stories, as well as lots of other information about the sector.
Yeah, of course. And we'll pop a link to that in the description, as well as everything else that we've discussed today. So thank you so much, Ian, for joining us as always and providing this update.
No problem.
That's all for today's edition of BIFA Link TV, your daily dose of industry information.